Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gavin Ramon Show. How is everyone doing? Did you all have a lovely Father's Day? What a wonderful Father's Day present that is, eh? For Mr. Starmer. Oh, the poor fellow. The poor fellow. Not that I've got much sympathy, but still, got to be respectful and all of that. Oh. Yes, I've just seen that, Ben, and I think I will be covering that at some point soon. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Oh, indeed. Oh, indeed. We've got a lot for you this evening, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to go over basically what's happened today in the United Kingdom regards to Sir Keir Starmer resigning and not a minute too soon. And we're also going to be going over some of the best moments of Keir Starmer, which is going to be wonderful. I'm sure you're all going to want to see that bumbling mess. And yeah, it'll be the last time, I suppose, we'll really go off on him. So I'm actually looking forward to it and just ripping him a new one. Why not? Why not? So let's just get ourselves set up and I will be with you. So I hope that you're all doing good, as I say. And hello, gorgeous Nikki. Gorgeous Nikki. Look, there she is. Gorgeous Nikki. Right, let's just... Yep, we're good. Looks like we're all good. Let's just give the hair a little once over. Let's give it a nice little... Yeah, give it a little... Hello, kids. How are you? How is everyone on this glorious day? Bit warm. Excuse the boxer shorts, though. Bit rude, isn't it? Walking around in boxers. You know what I mean? Who do you think you are, eh? Hello, Marty, MSS, all the regulars. It's like a celebration day, isn't it? I know, it is. Oh, no, expectations are low, MSS, but you know what? I'm glad. Do you know the only song I could hear in my head this morning? Ding Dong, the Witch is Dead from The Wizard of Oz. That's all I had, kept going, ding dong, the witch is dead. Yeah. Wicked witch is dead. Yeah, I could just have it on repeat in my head. And then I had to play the video and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I can't believe he actually done it. I thought he was too arrogant and smarmy to take a hint. But it seems as though the cookie has crumbled. Ding dong is dead. Yeah, gone. Yeah, I know. That's how I feel as well, Nick. So before we get into all of the videos, I've written a little something and I just want to read out, just to give everyone a quick brief overview of why people feel the way they do. Because there's a lot of people on the left and there's a lot of people in the mainstream media doing the rounds now saying how he's a wonderful man. We all know that that's absolute crap. So what I'm going to do, if you just bear with me. Oh, come on, Mr. Notepad. Mr. Notepad's gone a bit funny. Come on, Mr. Notepad. Right. So what we're going to start off with is the fact that Starmer, the Harmer... Hello, Jane. Hello, Montgomery. I basically want to... Why does it keep doing this? There's something on my computer that's causing it. Every time I talk, it types. I don't want it to do that. And this was doing this last week. Stop that, please. There's nothing I can turn off, though. It's like it's doing it on its own accord and I don't ask it to. No, it's not my AI. This never used to happen. It's like whenever I use a program, Google anything, anytime I talk, it just starts typing. And I haven't got anything on here that I've added to do that. No idea. Why do I have two running? What do you mean? Huh? I don't understand what you mean. Two running what? I'll lock the note for now and then I'll just read it. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read some of the things that Starmer's done because, you know, I'm going to send you a link on your community page. It's hilarious. Please do. Please do. Yeah, we'll be running for about an hour or so. Oh my God, if he's under criminal investigation, Ben, please don't tease me like that, bro. Don't tease me like that. You can't say to people, by the way, you know that guy you hate, something glorious might be happening. Imagine. Imagine. Right. So I'll go through the things, then we'll get into the videos and the feedback and everything else. Then obviously I want all of your feedback. Right, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This is just like a little recap of the things I've written down from what I can remember. And I'm sure you lot are going to be able to give me a load more as well. So in the 2 years that Starmer's been in, right, he swore he'd look after our old folks, didn't he? We all remember that before we got in and he was on his little trailblazer, the elderly will be protected. Then he whips the heating money off Minan's pension in the middle of the bleeding winter. And he was a heartless bastard about it. We all remember that. No tax rises he promised on the working people, and he stood there like a lemon saying no tax rises. And that was before the election, before he got elected. Then slapped us with a 60 billion hike. National insurance fiddles, frozen thresholds, and he's a lying snake. I think as this goes on today, you're going to see more of the lies that he told. And I think all of you know them anyway. How many more times or how happy are you going to be to not ever hear that £28 billion back hole, whatever? It's rubbish. Banging on about saving the planet with his flagship promises, and then he bend it quicker than a dodgy kebab. He's a hypocritical tosser. That's how I feel. Scrap tuition fees, promised to sort the student debt nightmare. Now it's vanished. Pretty much like my sex life, if I'll be completely honest with you. Family farms inheritance tax. He hit hardworking farmers with a death tax on their own land, then watered it down when the countryside went mental. We had all the farmers in London, all the tractors and everything else going on. He's a big sellout tosser, if you ask me. The two-child benefit cap. I don't even want to get into that. The grooming gang's national inquiry. He blocked an inquiry. So if you remember, not this January, last January, they had the big vote in Parliament. And 100% of the Labour Party voted against a national inquiry into grooming gangs because he told them that he would remove the whip, remove their jobs. They would not be speaking in Parliament any longer. So agree with me or you're removed. Right. The waspy women compensation said he'd sort out the women robbed of their pension, and then he slammed the door on the billions. Broken promises again. Workers' rights, day one, New Deal for working people, my arse. He watered it down with instant protection to 6 months after the bosses moaned. So he betrayed his own voters anyway. Freedom of movement. He defended it like a religion post-Brexit, then called it a red line against bringing it back. Flip-flopping clown. This is out of it without even getting into all the things about the talk about let's get back into the EU. Local elections postponed. First, they were postponed last year, which you can all remember. Not a general election. We inherited. Yeah. Let me be clear. Fuck off. Let me be clear. Pack your bags. Get out. He blocked the local elections last year and said that we didn't need it because we're doing all of these shuffles. Then this year they tried to do it again and Reform absolutely battered them, which was hilarious. So the digital ID cards, he swore it was just a simple right to work thing. Remember when that first came out, he goes, and now we're going to go through all the videos, but you know about the digital ID. Pub business rates, hammered the local business and boozers with tax hikes, then U-turn faster than a cabbie with the landlords kicked off. Look after your own, eh? Yeah, all right, mate. Disability benefits and PIP cuts, tried slashing support for the disabled, then caved like a wet paper bag after his own peas rebelled against him. The Chagos Island still, the prisoner early release. I mean, Jesus, this just goes on. The prisoner early releases, I don't need to go into that because you all know. Welfare reforms, the trans rights stance, private schools VAT, defence spending target, which he's lied about continuously and still hasn't said that they're going to meet the 3% that the country's needed because it's at risk from the likes of Russia, where there's talks that something may kick off between NATO and Russia as close as 2030, which isn't long at all. And we're defenseless, as the situation with Iran showed. Abolished universal credit, promised to scrap the whole cruel system, then quietly dropped it. Another lefty promise in the bin. Increased tax on top, 5%. Renationalise the Royal Mail. Cancel tax freezes promise. Smash the small boats, which we know is absolutely rubbish. It just goes on and on and on and on and on. Let me be clear, yeah, is clue for I don't have a clue. Right, so we're going to get into the videos of some of his best moments. Then we're going to see basically what the mainstream media have been saying, what people have been saying on social media, general public, and yourselves. So I'm glad he's gone. I don't know if Burnham's going to be any better or if he would be worse, but I guess we're going to be finding out in the coming weeks. I believe Wes Streeting was going to stand as well for the position, Andy Burnham, whoever else. But as far as I know, oh God, ripping me already. The hair dye. I don't dye my hair; it's naturally black. So is the beard. But we're going to go through some of Starmer's highlights. Ben, leave it out. We're going to go through some of Starmer's highlights, and we're going to see. Well, you'll see for yourselves, because it will make you remember just how bad this guy is. Don't hate, Ben. Do you like my beard? Do you remember when you used to have one? Right, let's continue. So these are just going through some of the big hitters from Starmer, and we've got a compilation as well. So let's have a good laugh, shall we, at his expense. Let me just read the quote as well, sorry. 3 girls slaughtered in Southport. Starmer attends it for 90 seconds, and then he fled. Do you remember that? I remember that. A minor attack on Peacehaven Mosque. Starmer spends all day there and gives 10 million for security enhancements, which I recall as well.
I'm so sorry that we're meeting in these circumstances because that was a horrific attack that will have impacted every single member of the community. We've just been talking to some of the family members and getting a sense firsthand of the personal impact. I'm really pleased today that we are announcing a further £10 million to support our mosques on top of the support we've already. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Wish he did that to the Christians. Jesus, imagine it. Right, here's another one for you. Here we go. I utterly condemn the far-right thuggery we've seen this weekend. So this was around the Southport incident. But just how he speaks about the British public who are upset and angry for yet another slaughter of more children.
Be in no doubt, those that have participated in this violence will face the full force of the law.
But just remember, this is only for the Christian right, people on the right, the Conservatives, not the people on the left.
The police will be making arrests, individuals will be held on remand, charges will follow, and convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder.
So that whole threat of the public. And the reason, again, I'm playing this because I want people to remember, like, I know we all hate this guy and I know he's despicable, but I think it's worth remembering just how manipulative and corrupt this man truly is, you know, because we saw at the same time that this Southport riot was happening, we saw a load of Asian boys with axes, bats, machetes, knives, all types of weapons. And I believe it was in Birmingham. You remember the big Birmingham roundabout? And they slashed the Sky News tyres. There was the other one in Stoke where we saw that video of that guy who was hit with something. I don't know what type of weapon. He was on the floor and there was blood all over the floor. We saw the live video. We was watching it. And then there was a police officer, or was it an imam? It may have been a police officer saying, boys, go and put your weapons in the mosque. Let that sink in just one last time. Imagine a group of black kids or a group of white kids in the streets with bats, baseball bats, and hockey sticks and blades, and the police going, just go and put the weapons, fellas. It's okay. Don't worry about it. And now, and just remember what he said here.
And convictions will follow. I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online. And
again, I'm going to pull this apart. Sorry, themselves. I have to. Whipping up this online, he said. What did he say?
Direct taking part in this disorder, whether directly
or whipping up this action online. And it was this very same day that Keir Starmer went on to BBC News or Sky News and state, no, it was the following couple of days. I think it might have even been the day after, but it was within that week vicinity that he went on national TV and said there's going to be over 100 far-right protests all around the country. And he encouraged people to close all of their shops in London, in Essex, and he lied because there was no far-right protests. And on that very night that he said that this was going to happen, all of the banners that you've seen, the refugees welcome, just popped up all over the country, not just in London, everywhere. Every single place that these supposed protests were, all of these people had these banners. And Ricky Jones, the Labour councillor, was in Walthamstow, and he said, you know what we need to do then? We need to do that to their throats. He said it. He actually said it. Remember, Ricky Jones, the councillor. Full force of the law. Nothing happened to him. Nothing.
Or those whipping up this action online and then running away themselves. This is not protest. It is organised, violent thuggery. And it has no place on our streets or online.
Except if it's the Palestine protests and you allow it to go on for 2 years. And when there's Christmas markets or where there's Easter or whether it's Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, you don't do anything about those people, because we saw it on Boxing Day at, what's that place called? Not Lakeside, Westfield in London and Westfield in Stratford. We saw protests all the way through where people are going out to celebrate Christmas, the Christian month of December, celebrating Jesus, and he did nothing about it. But that was an intimidation.
Right now, there are attacks happening on a hotel in Rotherham.
Very good, Ben. He never said anything with regards to BLM doing it.
Marauding gangs intent on law-breaking, or worse. Windows smashed, fire set ablaze, residents and staff in absolute fear. There is no justification, none, for taking this action. And all right-minded people should be condemning this sort of violence.
All right-minded people should be condemning grooming gangs and abuse of little girls, Starmer, but when you was in charge of Crown Prosecution Service, you covered it up. What does that say? And then, I mean, you could say, I'm lying, I'm making it up. Maybe he didn't, maybe he's a good guy. But then he lied about the Mandelson stuff and said, I didn't know he was this connected to Jeffrey Epstein. But the files that we all showed on here and was all over social media and the news said that he was told that this man wasn't safe, but he still, hired someone in a very high position and lied about it in Parliament.
People in this country have a right to be safe.
Which is why yet they're not, because you haven't closed the borders.
We've seen Muslim communities targeted.
We've seen British communities targeted for 30 years. How many terrorist attacks?
Attacks on mosques. Other minority communities singled out. Nazi salutes in the street. Attacks on the police. Wanton
attacks on the police. Again, they've been happening. And remember, attacks on the police. Far-right thugs. Attacks on the police. At the Unite the Kingdom rally, there was 26 people arrested. The so-called far-right Tommy Robinson march. There was 16 arrests, or was it 26? It was 16 or 26. You had the pro-Palestine one, and they had 800 people arrested. And then that organisation got banned because of the sledgehammer attack. I don't recall any of the so-called far-right doing that with sledgehammers, do you?
Violence alongside racist rhetoric. So no, I won't shy away from calling it what it is. Far-right thuggery. To those who feel targeted because of the colour of your skin or your faith, I know how frightening this must be. I want you to know that this violent mob do not represent our country, and we will bring them to justice.
Yeah. Okay, mate. That's video number 1. So that's something to remember. What are you going to do, Keir Starmer? Angry English interrupts legacy media with a question that every decent normal British deserves an answer to. Here we go. Leicester City Square after female gets attacked in London. Okay, you might remember this as well. I remember this. Leicester Square, where you've got the big giant Odeon cinema, the Lego store, the M&M's store. There was a coffee shop. I believe a woman was with a child, and a man attacked them with a knife. And it was an Asian security guard that saved him. I remember. Do you remember?
What are you going to do?
4.
That's 4 kids now!
Oh, okay. Javelin to get looking.
What are you going to do, Keir Starmer? That's 4 fucking kids!
12. 9.
See, and I mean, that's going back 2 years, and that's just a guy in the street. Hello, Derek. How you doing? So here we go. This is the one this past weekend. Absolutely appalling. No one should face violence on our streets. The suspect appears to be motivated by anti-Muslim hatred. I will not tolerate this. He will face the full force of the law. My thoughts are with those who are injured. See, he only uses this against white people, full force of the law, doesn't he? He didn't say this about the 2 guys that beat up a police officer at Manchester Airport, the 2 brothers. You will face the full force of the law. He didn't say that to those Muslim guys, did he? But if it was 2 white guys, you will face the full force of the law. My thoughts are with those who are injured, and I thank the police and the emergency service. Again, this shouldn't have been happening. And we've also seen people on social media from the mainstream media saying this is all because of Rupert Lowe. No, I would say it's due to the fact of the British people being ignored for decades and decades. That's what this is all about. This isn't about one incident. This isn't about one Rupert Lowe or one Nigel Farage. This is about decades of ignorance by the governments, both Conservatives and Labour. Next up, London is the best city in the world, and Donald Trump is a racist, misogynic, Islamophobic. Sadiq Khan, right? This was London. I believe this was during Eid in East London. This was in Ilford Lane. So again, remember, we're the problem. By the way, and to add on top of this, it's against the law. It is against the law to do this without proper council permission. But these people do not ask for the council's permission. They just do it anyway, and then the police have to just turn up and work around it, and the roads just get completely blocked off. Now, don't you recall, was it the Queen's Jubilee or one of those, and we had the big parties in the streets? We've only had, in my lifetime, I've only recalled that once or twice, and I believe it was the Queen's Jubilee, and we had all the road closed down and all the neighbours were out. I've never done that before. It was great. This happens every single year without the permission of the council. They just do it. And to think I used to live one of these roads. Literally, this is Ilford Lane. Ilford's back this way on the road, and there's a place called Barking, one of the worst places in the country, is at the end of this road. So you go to the end of this road, there's a big giant roundabout, and Barking starts there. And I lived on a road called Henley Road, which is just like literally just off of one of these, like on the left. And that's where I grew up. And it used to be, honestly, you won't believe it, it used to be an amazing area. Ilford used to be magnificent. This is exactly where I grew up. Who pays for this every year? The taxpayer. Why? And the thing is, if we're all honest about it, we've become quite hateful towards this particular religion. And the thing is, I don't want to sit here and be like this. I don't think any of you do. I don't think we're all sitting here going, I want to wake up tomorrow and I want to be hateful towards Islam. I want to be hateful towards Muslim. I don't want to feel this way. But it's at the stage now where things are happening and you're forced into a corner and you have nothing but resentment. Because if grooming gangs get ignored for decades and the Labour government, for example, voted against protecting children, then they don't seem to care that much about protecting the borders, and it's happening on a daily basis and on a weekly basis, stabbings, knives and all this. Where's your anger going to go if the government are not listening to you? You know? I don't want to hate. I don't want to feel this way. Like when I was growing up, I had loads of Muslim friends. I love the food. I think you all do. We all love Indian food, didn't we? You know what I mean? I don't want to feel this way. The government has pushed us down this path. They've allowed this to happen. It would be the same. It would be the same if we had some Swahili tribes come over. You know that island? Where's the island? The untouched island? Is it near Papua New Guinea or one of those islands where you've got an untouched civilization? It would like be grabbing all of those people, a couple of thousand of them, 5,000 of them, and then dropping them in Essex and go, off you go. And they've never been around people and our culture and what we do. What do you think's going to happen? So it's on the government. Yeah, diversity is our strength. I know it is. It's really hard to sort of sit here. For me, it is. It's hard to sit here and be disrespectful and be this blunt and rude, because again, I've got so many friends who are Muslim, you know, and during COVID, there was a girl I was talking to, Nadia, and I was going to get with her. She was a Muslim girl, but I knew the trouble that it would cause. Her family would have disowned her. She's nearly 40. Her family would have disowned her, you know? Like, it doesn't work, but I can't help what I'm attracted to. If I'm attracted to someone, I'm attracted to them. So, yeah, you get the gist of it. That's Ilford Lane. So that happens every single year. But yeah, here we go. Oh, God, how could we forget this one? Who remembers this absolute travesty? Today, Keir Starmer has banned Kanye West from entering the UK. Now, we've all got mixed feelings on Kanye West. I thought he was great with his first couple of albums. I thought he completely went off the track. And then he made that song about how Hitler was great. And, well, you've lost me, mate. Like, music's music. We do diss songs. We have a laugh. That's too far. However, the fact that Kanye West was banned, and you go, right, okay, but then you have literally an ISIS terrorist here who's the president of Syria, a very dangerous man, and you welcome him to 10 Downing Street the same week that you ban Kanye West. It doesn't make sense. Like, to your average Joe, that does not make sense. Keir Starmer welcomes former ISIS terrorist fighter, now president of Syria, at number 10 Downing Street. Like, you know, that's just, again, one of many. There's too many, isn't there? Because every time you sort of touch on something, oh yeah, one of you reminds me of something else. What do you think about the digital ID thing? I think it's a disgusting idea. I'll speak about that in a second, because I'm sure we'll cover that.
Tighter restrictions on smoking outdoors, pub gardens, outdoor restaurants, outside hospitals and so on. Is that something that you are considering?
My starting point on this is to remind everyone that
Over 80,000 people lose their lives every year because of smoking.
And I expect it's about the same for alcohol or drug addiction or speeding or cancer.
That's a preventable death. It's a huge
Natural, as in naturally cancer without smoking.
burden on the NHS, and of course it's a burden on the taxpayer. So yes, we are going to take decisions in this space. More details will be revealed. But
So should they ban alcohol then? Ban alcohol, ban... Hang on, what religion does this sound like?
But this is a preventable series of deaths, and we've got to take the action to reduce the burden on the NHS and reduce the burden on the taxpayer.
You said when you became Prime Minister you wanted politics to tread more lightly on people's lives. This is the opposite, isn't it?
Look, I think it's important to get the balance right, but everybody watching this who uses the NHS will know that it's on its knees.
And it's not on its knees because of smokers, is it? You absolute twerp. Oh, this guy. Oh, here's another classic moment. Do you remember this one? Oh, God. Oh, God.
Hello.
Let's just enjoy that one more time.
Hello.
Oh, it's a shame he didn't go over in it. Isn't it a shame? Right, the best of Keir Starmer compilation. Here we go. I have no idea what is on this.
We risk becoming an island of strangers.
I say that it's racist. Remember that.
We risk becoming an island of strangers.
But he can say it.
Mr. Speaker, I am a gooner, and so thank you very much.
Well, there's not too much there, so yeah. We'll get to some of his speech and then the highlights of it. There's a clown one, I don't know what that is, so I'll skip that. See, again, you've got to remember this. We kneel with all those opposing anti-black racism, and this was for the George Floyd, kneeling for George Floyd. And remember, all the sports teams did it. Everyone done it in sport, all of the football players. But yet, Henry Novak was murdered. Those girls in Southport were murdered. I mean, we're seeing it on a daily basis. All these other people are murdered. We don't get this, do we? Don't get this solidarity thing. Crazy. Is another one that kind of goes forgotten. Sir Jim Radcliffe made the statement in an interview, said the UK has been colonised with foreigners and immigrants. He's not wrong, though, is he? He's not wrong. Like, you've just seen that video of Ilford Lane. Does that look like the UK to you? It's not being horrible. It's just an observation. Does that look, if you looked at that video, if I just showed you that and said you've got to pick out of 3 different locations, how many of you are going to go, yeah, that's London? Not many. And that's not hateful. It's what you can see with your own eyes. But we've got to ignore that now. Right, here we go. Next one. This is who Keir Starmer is, a war criminal. This is from Zara Sultana, who I'm not that fond of, but let's see what she's posted.
I'm very clear. Israel does have that right to defend herself, and Hamas bears responsibility.
A siege is appropriate.
So Hamas bears responsibility, but they allowed all of the flags of Hamas, all of these groups, the Supreme Leader of Iran, all of those flags and pictures to be marched through London as freedom of speech. So you're allowed to protest in support of a terrorist organisation, but the far right is the problem. Again, it's all of... You see what I mean? It's not just one thing, is it? It's... How many things have we said so far? 30, 40?
Cutting off power, cutting off water.
Well, I think that Israel does have that right. It is an ongoing situation. Obviously, everything should be done within international law, but I don't want to step away from the sort of core principles that Israel has a right to defend herself and Hamas bears responsibility for these terrorist acts. And I would call on all responsible states, particularly Middle East responsible states, to call this out for what it is.
To call it out for what it is, but he won't call it out in our own country. You see? He wants someone else to deal with it, but, he wants the glory. Here we go. So, Reform demands a general election to fix broken Britain. I haven't seen this. This is Nigel Farage today after Keir Starmer has resigned from the Labour Party.
On May the 7th, in the Midlands, Yorkshire, all the north of England, Reform scored absolutely stunning victories in areas that Labour had dominated.
I'm not going to lie. Do you not even think it's aged him? Think about the fact that he took over Reform a couple of years ago, and we always talk about how politicians, prime ministers, presidents age rapidly because of the stress. Do you not look how different he looks to a couple of years ago?
For the best part of 100 years. The sheer scale of our victory against Labour made it inevitable that this Prime Minister could not survive. And because of that, Burnham steps forward and wins quite convincingly the Makerfield by-election, ironically with the same message that we had in the local elections. Ours was vote Reform, get Starmer out. His was vote Burnham, get Starmer out. Unbelievably, we're about to have our 6th Prime Minister in 7 years. I remember growing up thinking Italy was totally ungovernable as they went through a new Prime Minister every year, and yet that's where we are here. Why is it all happening, and why did we get that big number of votes in the north of England? Well, 10 years ago, on the 23rd of June 2016, we voted Brexit. Much of our political establishment has never accepted the result. And even those that reluctantly did, namely the Conservative Party, refused to implement what voters demanded, namely lower levels of immigration.
And that's exactly what I've been saying. Think what you want of Farage. The whole thing with Brexit was take control of our borders. Have we? No. It's got progressively worse. And whoever's been in control of the country has just allowed it to get progressively worse instead of protecting our borders. That's what we voted for. So when people on the left keep screaming Brexit has failed, I would agree with them. Yes, because those on the left have been in control of this country. You know what I mean? To me, the Conservatives are supposedly more right. They're not. They're no different to me than Labour. They're both as guilty as one another. They're both responsible for the state of this country. And that's why people are looking to people like Reform, or in my case, someone like Rupert Lowe with Restore.
And more freedom for our sole traders and small businesses. They were just 2 of the benefits we could have taken having got back self-governance. Under Starmer, the Labour Party has moved much closer back to the European Union. And if Mr Burnham wins, they'll go closer still, which means Labour voters and the Labour Party are completely divided on this issue. But the bigger point today is that of a mandate, is that of legitimacy. I've no idea whether there'll be a contest or a coronation. But what I do know is the British public have simply had enough of political parties chopping and changing their leaders at will. We vote for somebody in a general election to be our Prime Minister. We expect them to serve their term. And barring ill health or exceptional circumstances, what is going on here, frankly, is reminiscent of a banana republic.
I agree. But before that continues, I just want to read out a message here. Ben says, did you notice during Andy Burnham's campaign and his winning speech that there was no Labour leaflets or posters? Everything just said, vote Burnham, with no Labour rose present.
That has totally devalued the very process of general elections and democracy. I demand, we at Reform demand, a general election. After all, when the Conservatives were chopping and changing prime ministers, Labour kept saying there should be a general election. On that point, the Conservative Party say there's no need for a general election because they're part, frankly, of the Uniparty. It's as if the whole thing is a game.
It is.
Labour did not actually carry out their mandate of 24, did a whole number of things, whether it was the tax on family farms, the giving away of the Chagos Islands and much else that wasn't in the manifesto. If it is Mr Burnham, he didn't even stand at the last general election. Britain is broken. 6 prime ministers in 7 years should convince you of that fact. We are ready for a general election, and I suspect many of you too are ready for a general election. The thought we're going to go through.
I would like to see a general election, but I know democracy is nonsense. It is nonsense. But I still believe in following that tradition. Whether that's right or wrong, I don't think. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens. I guess we would see what happens, but I don't believe in, because then that could happen all the time. Every 2 years, it kicks off. Oh, we should have another election. Oh, Brexit. Oh, we've got to have another Brexit vote. I don't believe in that. I believe in sticking to your guns in something and seeing it through. Starmer had to go, though. He's a dangerous, dangerous man. And I've never said that about anyone in my life that I've seen as a leader. There's been people that I dislike, and I'm sure it's the same for you guys. A lot of you probably don't like Nigel Farage or maybe Rupert Lowe, but I've never in my lifetime seen anything like I've seen with Starmer. I've never experienced watching something like Parliament and to see 100% of them say, no, we don't want to investigate grooming gangs. We don't want to investigate it, like the whole country. We don't want to go around and find out exactly who's responsible and hold them to account, whether it be the police, whether it be council workers, MPs, people in government. No, we don't want to find out. That for me was and I was Labour for most of my life growing up. But that's, I mean, the Conservatives are the same. But I think for a lot of people, and that's the thing I can't get past. If I get my bee in a bonnet about something, and I keep going on about the grooming gangs, once you get to that, till that's resolved, I don't care. I don't care if Reform get in and they don't do nothing about him. I will call him out and I will go after him with flipping fists and blood. Not violence, but you know what I'm saying. Like, I will not stop until something is done, because this is the state of our country now. This is where it's going. Like, we've deemed it acceptable to turn on the news each night and see, oh look, young boy in North London has head removed. Oh, okay, just another one. Oh, young boy thrown off building. Oh, okay, just another one. It shouldn't be just another one. It shouldn't be happening. Full stop.
True. Weeks, maybe months of paralysis in a country whose debt is rising faster than any country in the world, apart from Botswana, where the boats continue to come across the English Channel every day. The whole thing is not acceptable. Let's have a general election. Let's get a government.
I wonder what would happen. Do you guys think if he say we had a general election on the 1st of August, do you think Reform would win? Like, if they were on the ballot, which they would be, do you think they would win? I think it would be very, very, I think it would be very close. Right, here we go. I'm just sick to the teeth of that. Right, so these are some of the comments I've saved from people today. After Starmer resigned, I wanted to show you what... There's a lot of people out here, comment on stuff that I cannot comprehend their thought process. I try to see it from different sides, but sometimes I don't understand it. So this lady here says, I'm just sick to the back of my teeth of the handling that Starmer is getting. He's been dignified throughout, and 1,600 have liked it. How can you say someone voting against protecting little girls from being abused, against stopping illegals coming into this country and abusing our little girls, how can you call that dignified? And then being caught colluding with someone working with Jeffrey Epstein, which is one of the biggest PDF rings in history that we know of. That's what I'm saying. I can't get past that. It's all of the same thing. I cannot get past that. Like, that's my life goal of bringing down. I cannot get past it. So when I see someone like this go, well, that he's been dignified. How is that dignified? How? I try to understand. I try to go, right, what does she mean by that? Dignified. He's covered up child abuse. How is it dignified? I don't get it. Anyway, Sam says, if Keir Starmer does resign, history will look back on his reign and scratch its head as to why the hell he was so hated. Like I've just reiterated what I feel. The replies to this post have put absolutely beyond a doubt that the hatred for Keir Starmer is 99% on misinformation. Just read through them. People spouting the same misinformation they could have repeatedly fed over the last year or so, disproven countless times. It's not misinformation when we've covered it on the channel and we've seen it in black and white. Did he lie in Parliament about Mandelson? Yes. Did he do it multiple times? Yes. Did he say that there's going to be 100 far-right protests after the Southport riot? Did he go on national TV and state that as fact, that it's going to happen? Yes. And did it happen? No. So he lied multiple times. Now, if I was to go on national TV or any of you and say, right, tonight there's going to be 10 bombs go off and it doesn't happen, I'm going to get done for it, because you can't spread misinformation and lie. The government can. What's the difference? Why do they get a little leeway. Oh, well, I just didn't know. Here we go. Bushra says, just so we're all on the same page, Elon Musk, Rupert Lowe, Tommy Robinson, Nigel Farage and co have been commenting on the historical abuse of children within the global... Oh, she's saying they've never commented. These people have never commented on the French Catholic Church expresses shame after reports finds 330,000 children were abused. I expect if we look at videos or something like that, people would have called this out, and this was a major mainstream news thing, and people got done for it and got put in jail, and rightly so. No one's going to defend this, Bushra. Nobody. You know? Nobody's going to defend this. But I'm yet to see this Muslim jihadist witch call out the people in her own community. She still denies it. She still pretends it's not happening. Instead, she's talking about this. Well, these people have been found guilty, and we're all happy that these people have been found guilty because they're evil, right? So now call out your people. You won't. That's the difference. A good man is full stout. Like, this is from, I don't know, somebody supports Aston Villa. Like, a good man. A good man. Maybe what it is, maybe a lot of people don't watch a lot of politics. Maybe a lot of people don't pay attention to it, like a lot of us. So they don't know about all the Epstein stuff. Maybe. I don't know. Farage is demanding a general election because he's terrified of a Labour led by Andy Burnham. No, he's not. That's completely irrelevant. He's doing it because it's a vote of no confidence in this government. These are the same people on the left saying, you didn't think Andy Burnham would win. I bet Farage is gutted. No. On the contrary, the fact that Burnham won has got rid of Starmer. That's what people wanted. Like, can you not think ahead? Every stat I've seen suggests this man was doing a fine job fixing a lot of the issues. What do the British people really want? You know, this is what I'm trying to say. People just don't know, do they? It's bizarre. It really is bizarre. Here we go. We've got another one here. It says, Elon Musk has said nothing about Muslims getting stabbed in Edinburgh by a Scottish terrorist. Yet just days after, he amplifies one of the biggest anti-Muslim haters in the country. We can all see what's happening here. Not really, Bushra. I mean, we're going to watch this video, and if you're right, I will 100% say, well done, Bushra, for calling it out. However, when you've got stuff like that happening in the country to English people and little girls daily, every week, and it's on the news every day, and then you're talking about one incident, two incidents, those incidents that are happening to Muslim people is disgusting. Of course it is. But if it's happening to English people constantly, and now you want sympathy, yet you turn your back on the English people, you hate England. You talked about, could you burn down, what happens if I burn, well, I'm sure someone would have posted it in here. Because every time she posts something, someone puts it in. They always put it in because she posted something about, can we burn a house down with white people in it or something. So people always like quote her on it in her own posts. Right, so let's just see if Bush...
In my town, there was one mosque. When I was born in 1982, in my town, there was one mosque. There's now 45. I'm not going to talk... I don't talk about what I've seen or what I've read. I talk about a life experience of a town that has changed beyond belief. And it hasn't changed for the better. So let me just show you a quick video from my hometown.
British police go to hell! British police go to hell!
See, this should be banned in England. You can't. There's a difference between protest. I've said it to you lot before. If we still had the KKK as they were back then, if they were still a prevalent thing, I would agree that you should be having interviews with the Grand Wizard. You should be having interviews with the leaders and sects of that group to understand why they feel like they do. What they, why are you like this? This needs to change. This is unacceptable. This is wrong.
Speak to me like that. I wasn't sure. This is my hometown as well.
All right, stadium.
No, I'm walking. I am walking. No, I can do what I want. That girl's just I don't mind. Point away. Point away. Because you're not scaring me. Do you think it's fair that you should say British police need to burn in hell?
That's a freedom of speech. If they wish to say it, they can say.
See, now's the difference. Just this is when I haven't even seen this. So Bush was full of crap because this isn't peddling hate. This is the guy's own words. He's saying it's freedom of speech for me to say the police need to burn in hell. Now, if me and all of you went down London and we was holding up placards, burn the police in hell, burn, dude, come on. Let's not. This isn't about me being racist. This isn't about me being Islamophobic. Think about it. Imagine a bunch of 100, 200 white people walking down the street with placards, burn the police, go to hell, burn the... That's incitement to violence. That's what Lucy Connolly was put in prison for. She weren't even as graphic as that. She actually said, if those hotels were to be burned, I could not care less if it happened. She didn't say go and do it. These men are saying burn them. They're saying it. So why are they not in jail? You see what I'm saying?
Point away. Because you're not scaring me.
It's bizarre, man.
Do you think it's fair that you should say British police need to burn in hell?
That's a freedom of speech. If they wish to say it, they can say it.
And I wouldn't mind, hear me out, I wouldn't mind if I could say the same thing and it's okay, I'm okay with it. It's the same with the facial recognition when you had the United Kingdom people and you had the Palestine protests. All the United Kingdom people have got facial recognition by the police. All the Palestine ones haven't. Well, fuck off. I'm sorry about my language, but bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Where's the equality for people of England? These people can do that. I can't. I do this. I know 100% if I went out and did this in London, I'd get arrested straight away. Why? Why, if they can do it?
In Islam, doesn't it say that you have to respect the law of the land that you're living in? I thought it did.
That's my hometown, the town I love, the town I've seen change.
And we saw Ilford. I love Ilford. That's where I grew up. It's where I had my first snog with Zoe, my first girlfriend, which was Angela, and Sarah, who I went out with, and Nicola. All of that. That's my childhood. My best friend at school was Amir Mirza. He was as a Muslim kid. He was my best friend. Do you know what I mean? That's my childhood. So I've got a love for that place. And what I see now is not the place I grew up with. It's not.
Let me just show you some of the terror plots that have come out of my town. The Luton Army Base bomb plot, the 2020 London attack, the Stockholm bomber,
Ben.
who was a suicide bomber who come to the UK from Sweden and went and blew himself up in Sweden. The 7/7 suicide bombers killing 52.
Anjem Chowdhury. Do you remember Anjem Chowdhury, who was in and out of prison? He was from Ilford. He had a house in Ilford, where I was.
The fertiliser bomb plot, the gas limos plot. It's the base and the home of Almas Radin, who...
There he is, Anjem Chowdhury. Yeah, he's from Ilford. That's literally where I was for most of my life, there. And that's where he was. And I didn't even know.
Their head office was in my town. That's one of the world's most known terrorist organisations. It was the home of 12 ISIS recruits. This entire family went to join ISIS during the time of the Caliphate. They were all living off the benefit state in Britain, and they left to join ISIS. Luton Muslims died fighting for ISIS. I knew Abu. I knew him growing up. He was a fighter who died.
You know, as well, because this is... I know I'm going to keep stopping because there's so much I've got to say with all of this stuff, right? If we don't remember and keep recollecting over this stuff, this generation doesn't understand. If you look at the kids that go on TikTok or the kids that use Instagram or people that come on YouTube, they just see people like me or someone like Tommy Robinson and they see them as, you're attacking Muslims, they've done nothing wrong, because they're all sort of 16, 17, 18 on TikTok. They've got all Asian friends like I used to have. There's no problem, there's no issues. They didn't understand, they don't understand. It was probably 10 years ago, the Ariana Grande concert in Manchester. A lot of these kids were too young to remember that. So it doesn't occur to them. 9/11 doesn't occur to them. I haven't forgot walking home from Barking, where we looked at Ilford Lane, that road, and I said to you, Barking's down the road, the train station, if you go up there and turn right, the roundabout, turn right is Barking Station. I used to get my train to Waterloo from there, come all the way back, and walk past the roundabout, and on the left there's a big giant park, Barking Park. I remember walking home from work one night and walking through the park to cut through to get home, like back towards Ilford, and I recall Asian boys in the park in the wooden, like the wooden like the seating and the bench, like the little hut things, in the parks. And I remember having headphones on, and I've told you this story before, but I remember walking through, I pull out a headphone when I grow up, because you have to be street smart around there and be aware of gangs and all of that, even back then. And I remember taking one of my headphones out and just putting it in my pocket, and I just heard, oi, oi. And I turned around and it was like, oi, white boy, this ain't your home no more, bruv. And they started smashing up the fence. And one of them come at me, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. And then I went home and got something. Like I got a weapon, and I'm like, I don't want to live like that. I don't want to live. That's kind of one of the reasons I'm not in that area no more. I don't want to live like that. I'm just coming home from work, mate. I don't need this crap. And that it's got 10 times worse than that. I don't want it to be like that. I want to be able to walk home through the park, see little black kids, Asian kids, white kids, whatever you are, Chinese kids, all on their bikes like when I was a kid. I want to see that. I want it to be happy. I don't want this shit. I don't want it.
Another one, Al Brittani. He went and blew himself up in another suicide attack. Luton has a population of 200,000 people. Now, I could show you and stand here for 10 minutes showing you terrorist after terrorist after terrorist. What I'm showing you is that out of a 50% population of 200,000 people, that's my town. Yeah, that may explain why I have been fighting against the Islamification of Great Britain and all that means since 2004. But most people know of my activism since 2009 when I started a street protest movement called the English Defence League. In that time, there have been 12 or maybe now 13 terror plots or intelligence-led plots to take my life. It's called, in the UK, it's called an Osman warning. It's when the government sit you down and they give you intelligence saying, look, we have intelligence, someone's planning to kill you. I've had Al-Shabaab most recently, just 2 weeks before I came here. I was named in a publication from the ISIS terror manual. Oh, that's this is 6 gentlemen. They're doing 30 years in jail. They got caught with guns and bombs on their way to kill us. They got there 2 hours late. It's a crazy.
Don't you remember the video last year that went viral when there was a guy on one of the dinghies coming over and he had a machine gun? Like he's like, I'm going to kill people. I'm like, what the fuck? How is that happening in England? Like how?
There's a video of them walking through the square 2 hours after we were there.
Great point there from Vlad. Says they've had decades to integrate. Now it's far from integrated. Yeah, see? And I've made this statement so many times. The problem that we've got in this country with the black community, the Jamaican community, is different from what we've got with this community. Like the same problem we have with the Sikhs. So what we had it was December that came out the other week with Henry Novak. I would call that an isolated incident. You might disagree with me, but I don't believe that there's loads of Sikh kids with blades going around doing that. To me, that's the same as a Christian kid doing it, a white kid doing it, a black kid doing it. It's knife crime. It's disgusting and it's gang violence. It's a cultural thing that we've got in this country that's a problem. That is very, very separate for what we're talking about here, because the Sikh people go into pubs. Hindus, they might not have alcohol or whatever, they'll go into pubs. People they will integrate into our way of life. And as someone's just pointed out there, Vlad's just pointed out there, they've had decades to integrate and it's far from integrated. I don't recall, as I've stated on here before, I don't really recall a situation with the Chinese community ever in England. I've tried to think back to my childhood about this, thinking, when has there been a time where the Chinese have kicked off in this country? Why there's been like a big protest and a big fight? I don't remember one. I don't think there's ever been one. The Hindus, I don't think there's ever been one. You know what I mean? How many people do you know that has been jumped by a gang of Jewish kids? It don't happen. It doesn't happen. And if it does happen, that's what I'm saying, it's once in a blue moon, an isolated incident like the Henry Novak thing, which is disgusting. Don't get me wrong, the knives and all of that, it's got to go. I agree, it's got to go. But that's not a cultural. It just isn't. It isn't, because every kid who's Sikh would be attacking white kids, and that's not happening, is it?
That's this month's. I'm gutted because look, I've got a big double chin, but that's this month's terror manual from ISIS. Kill the one who disrespects the Prophet. by the end of this, I'm going to give you every bit of information about the prophet. You're going to know who he was and what he actually teaches. And that's what they don't want you to know. That's why they don't want you to ask questions. So apart from this stuff, the biggest challenge to me, other than the threats, other than the violence, has been from the British government. Because, you see, the UK government, anti-free speech, Keir Starmer and his crew of tyrants, and all previous governments, the Tory party, both governments in the UK, they have pushed the lie of multiculturalism, and they've chased after the Muslim vote, hoping for the left Islam alliance. We're seeing this.
Could you imagine, yeah? Could you imagine David Lammy becoming Prime Minister and then pushing to make the country more like Jamaica? Like, it doesn't make sense, does it? Like, even me saying that just sounds stupid. You know what I mean? Like, we need to have more, what? Like, it doesn't make sense because that community is not like that. The community is not like that. It's not the same. There's only one community where we have this disagreement in. So it begs the question. I don't believe that it's that multiculturalism has failed. I don't believe that at all. Because there's plenty of places in the world where you've got all walks of life. It's only when it comes into loggerheads with one particular faith. If you look at all of the incidents in the world, if you look at all of the places in the world where shit hits the fan, I would say, I haven't even looked. I would say 95% of them involve Islam. Think about it. Think of all the stuff that's been going on. Think about all the things that are going on in the world today. You don't often see, like, the Jews and Hindus are going to fight. Okay, why? Do you know what? It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense.
It's happened now all over the world. The left are useful idiots for Islam. It's now reached a point where our leaders cower in fear, unwilling and unable to stop what is coming. Everything we hold dear, everything, liberty, equality under law, our democracy, and the very nation itself, everything is in peril.
And I couldn't agree. I don't see, and let's just go back to what Bush was said initially. Elon Musk has said nothing about the Muslims getting stabbed in Edinburgh by a Scottish terrorist, yet just days after, he amplifies one of the biggest anti-Muslim haters in the country. But what has he said there that was incorrect?
When I was born,
like
in 1982.
That's not, you can't call that hate. What has he said in that video that isn't true, that we can view with our own eyes? What has he said that is false information there? There isn't anything that's false information. So I don't understand her angle. I tried to, but there's nothing there. Right, ladies and gents, let's finish off with this one. So you're going to remember this guy. This was the guy who was on video, one of the Harrow enforcement officers at the centre of the recent footage has spoken out for the first time, Joseph Fernandez. So you all remember this video where he was saying he was threatening someone on the street and the guy videoed it. Remember it from last week or the week before? Let's see what happened.
Hello everybody, my name is Joseph Fernandez and I'm making this video because there have been a number of reports and allegations made about me and Umar. I believe they are inaccurate and misleading. I've stayed quiet up until now, but I feel it's important that people hear directly from someone who actually was involved in the incident. Firstly, I want to address some of the claims that have been made about my personal life. It's been reported that I live in a £900,000 house with my aunt. The last time I checked, I live in Tottenham. So that's completely false. I don't know how they can publish such a lie. Also, Umar lives in Tottenham too. And there's also been suggestions about our backgrounds. They say that we're asylum seekers. They say that we're illegal immigrants.
I've never heard any of that. I've never heard any of that.
I'm a British citizen. Seriously. I know you guys have seen this. Come on now. It's a British passport. It's real. Ka-ching. And also my father's English too. These claims have nothing to do with the incident itself.
No, I don't.
Because they have been reported publicly.
Oh, is that all he wanted to say? So the fact that he was going to pull someone's teeth out and smash their head in, he's not going to mention them. Well, whatever then. I don't care what he's got to say. That's embarrassing. That was a pointless video. Absolutely pointless. Yeah, it's crazy. Absolutely crazy stuff. So, Starmer is gone. I don't know what we're going to do, you know. The world, as we know, it's all over. The 2 videos are threatening people, yeah. It's just it's crazy, isn't it? Yeah, but just deny. It didn't happen. It wasn't me. Oh, dear. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for another evening of excitement. The first day of the week, Mr. Starmer is gone. How you doing, Curtis? I hope you're well. Ben, don't hate me because I've got nice hair, mate. Don't hate me because I've got beautiful hair, bro. Don't hate me. I wonder if they will have a general election. Who knows, boys and girls? Who knows? It's all too exciting, isn't it? Right, I will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. And yeah, we've got a busy week ahead. So I'm sure a lot more of this is going to come out tomorrow. Yeah, more madness is going to happen in the next 24 hours, I feel. So we'll just have to keep an eye on it. But I'll be back again tomorrow night and we'll cover more of the madness of the United Kingdom. Don't hate, Ben. Don't hate. Just, it don't suit you. I look great. I look amazing. I know. So I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining me and have a lovely evening. I'm going to go and have a sausage roll because that's how I roll. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.